Welcome back to PlayStation Corner. My name is Alex and today we're taking a look at Hunter's Arena on the PS5, the latest battle royale to enter what is now an overcrowded genre, but this one it's switching out guns for think more mythical style martial arts. Is it worth your time though, or are you going to be best off sticking with what the genre already has to offer? Well, hit subscribe, join our growing PlayStation family, and let's get started. So today we're not only going to be looking at story, gameplay, graphics, all that good stuff, but I also want to put a bit of focus here on monetization. It's competing in a genre that is predominantly free to play, yet this one it's asking for $20 up front unless you grab it this month for free with PS Plus. So why is that, and does it do enough to justify that ask? Also, naturally it dropped today, so this is going to be more first impressions and highlighting the good and the bad that I've seen this far. I'll give you a hint at one of the bad parts though, and why I got this video out so quickly. The only cosmetics on sale currently, it's a small bundle at nearly $100, and what the hell are they thinking? Story-wise then, not a whole lot. There's a great looking opening cutscene that shows a battle that's about to commence. It takes place between these two opposing forces, I presume good and evil, but that is really it. Kind of talks to like legends and demons battling it out, but before you know it, it's gonna throw you straight into that tutorial. So gameplay wise, it's very much a battle royale, meaning you're going to land on a map and then battle it out to be the last legend standing or last team. The game also though throws in a third mode that's called tag. That is one-on-one battles where you choose two warriors and it throws you into a very small location, and in these moments it almost becomes sort of this arena brawler. Really like this addition. Well, I'm not sure it would keep me coming back. It was a great place to kind of take legends online, face off against real players and see where my skill was at. Before jumping into any battle though, you need to choose a legend, and the game features 12 on opening. There's actually an additional 5, the game's very much touting 17 legends, but they need to be unlocked via in-game currency known as soul points. Now you can grind that out of course, but you need 25,500 soul points. Realistically, on my pacing after my first 10 matches, I was gaining right around 130 soul points per battle. So if I didn't improve, let's say I stayed exactly that same level, that's going to be right around 200 matches per legend. Of course, given its genre though, as I tried to click and unlock one, it pushed me immediately to the transaction page to spend some real life cash. This starts at $5 in its bundles, but that won't be enough to unlock your next character of course without some grinding. So you'd need to opt for that second tier 100 points, which is $9.99. The characters though, if paid, they basically end up costing right around $7.50 each, but these games, they never seem to offer a pack that is just exactly the amount it costs for one of these characters. What I will at least say here though is I see no real need to unlock these legends any quicker, even if I do think the design is a little insulting. We'll get to that a little bit later though. But the core 12, it's a nice variety, each with their own kind of unique skill set, and they provide a variety of classes. It's actually broken down into 3. We've got melee, mid-range and long range. I'd suggest start with any melee character, by far the easiest to get to grips with, and if you actually visit the Hunter's Arena website, it gives you a handy little breakdown of each character and their difficulty rating, something I wish they had put in the game directly. Combat though, it's simple enough honestly. At its core level, you have a normal attack attached to square, and then what it calls martial arts to triangle, which you can basically translate as heavy. The gameplay here, it doesn't really rely on overly complicated input schemes, but rather combo strategy. Alongside these two core moves then, we can jump, we can use items found in the world that attach to the press of the D-pad, so think health packs and bombs. We can interact with items in the world with the tap of R2, and then we can also guard with R1. This then is kind of capped off with counters, escapes and skill moves. Skill moves are basically a face button while holding the R1 trigger. These are then capped off then with counters, escapes and skill moves, which are more special attacks that the tutorial will guide you through. It's actually a surprisingly deep gameplay setup though for its combat, but the game, it does a great job in that tutorial of very much setting you up for success. Likewise though, from the main menu, we can continue to lean into tutorials that will take us into more advanced techniques. There's also like a tutorial arena as well. From the main menu as well, you'll also notice things like daily challenges. Right now they are very much designed for new players, very simple tasks, but no doubt with time these will get more and more complicated. The core game though really is naturally like combat heavy exploration of a single map. You start on a floating platform, you jump off after a quick countdown, and into war you go with up to 30 players out for each other's blood. Remember though, this is PvPvE though, so there's also demons like scattered around this battlefield. Through the world though, you're going to be finding things like new weapons, armor, buffers that can be picked up and added to your character, but I found it difficult to understand exactly how this loot compared to, you know, my current setup. Through the world though, you'll find new weapons, armor, buffers, you'll find chests of course, but then you will also find along the road things like gems that restore health and stamina. The only thing about the loot here is, I will say I found it very difficult to understand exactly how this loot compared to my current setup. The real strategy here though, it seems to be like defeat NPC demons, gain loot, power up, then face off against real world players, or maybe go and find one of the many merchants around this world for new weapons and upgrades on the fly. As the battle progresses, the classic circle will of course then be closing in around you as well, but one thing I did like about this is it is relatively slow paced if you do find yourself stuck on it. I never actually found it difficult to get out of it when I was, you know, kind of on that border. And that's really the majority of it. Like, the occasional boss appears who you can slay for epic loot, but you've really got to like that battle royale formula to enjoy this one. In my time with it then though, I do need to point this out, I've noticed a few annoying quirks as well. Like, the game has these jump pads that fire you into the sky. The demons though, the NPCs, they disappear. This is a battle royale that features NPCs that can disappear at relatively short distance. That's a bad problem to have as shown in the video right now. You know, the demons very much play part of the strategy, yet I can't actually see where the demons are. Now fortunately, I will say here, it at least doesn't impact, you know, player controlled legends, or at least not that I noticed, but they definitely need to work on fixing this up quickly. Also then, it's kind of packed full of these weird invisible walls. Like, you can't jump up a wall of a certain height standing still, though you clearly can clear it. But if you're running, you manage it just fine. Monetization then is here, but it's not pay to win, but it's got an upfront cost, so you should absolutely expect that. What you instead find is cosmetics and those 5 additional characters currently. Now they can of course, as I've said, be technically unlocked with grinding, but the point system involved, it's not designed to be easy. Not a fan of this honestly. Having locked characters immediately out of the gate, that should be reserved for free to play models only, or maybe you could have had different tiers of access to the game. For example, I am a big fan of high-res studios, so Paladins and Rogue Company, and they've got this system absolutely down. With high res, if you went free to play, there was like maybe 2 to 3 playable characters, but that's more than fair. It's absolutely free, you should expect to be grinding it out. Then you could buy bundles including a top tier that unlocked all like day 1 game content. Here they've immediately locked characters away, and I don't think you should do that. Just do it for new additions in the future to the roster, but don't make my day 1 welcome we'd still like a little bit more of your cash please. And yes, I know I got it with PS Plus, but I still don't believe that is the point. Cosmetics then, we only have 1 bundle, and I touched on this briefly at the ending. It's called the Beach Festival 2021 pack. Packs in a few crappy outfits and weapons as you can see, but it's nearly $100, and that's after a 20% discount. That's just taking the piss at this point. I think it tells you everything you need to know about the developers' intentions here. Graphics and audio finally, keeping this quick, it looks decent enough. I noticed a few stutters here and there when the map opens up, especially when you saw the kind of flashy moves playing out, but generally I'm impressed. Look, the legends look great, they are nice and varied in their design, and the demons, especially the NPCs, not the smartest bunch AI wise, but they look great, and there's some real like variety in here. The map overall as well, great too. It's relatively small to support instant action, but it's got a nice mix of landscapes from forest to deserts to snow and ice. Regarding audio then, there's some decent kind of combat sounds, obviously the weapons, and the music, it's pretty generic stuff, but it for sure matches the setting. Not a lot else I can say honestly, it's not particularly catchy, but it gets the job done. So overall, when you get stuck into one of the PvP battles on the map, it is decent enough. I'd even say fun, and I can see the depth in its combat system, but it not only has its fair share of issues, but they just do nothing here to justify the price. They've already paid like walled 5 of the 17 legends on day 1. Even if you pay that entry fee of $20 if you didn't have PS Plus, they still want another like $40, and that's just for like 5 legends. Then the only cosmetics available, that's $100 for some beach crap. screw that, it tells me everything I personally need to know about this one, and that is, it's out to drain the bank account as quickly as possible, and that really is about it. Stick to the free to play ones out there in my opinion, and do not waste your time here unless you get that free access. Having an entry point as well in pricing means only one thing: they're limiting the size of the player base and the community, and that's never good for a game that's online only with really no IP pulling power at all. It's gotta go free to play in the future if it wants a chance at survival for me, this one. Otherwise, honestly, it's got no chance against games like think your Warzones and your Fortnites of the world. Did you test it out today? Then let me know in the comments down below. Would love to hear what everyone thinks of it so far. And with that, hit subscribe, join our growing PlayStation family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.